Let's jump straight into this explainer and explore that wild, fascinating intersection where ancient spiritual traditions crash right into modern neurophysiological science. Today, we're taking a deep, structured look under the hood of mantra chanting. We're going to see exactly how a practice rooted in literally thousands of years of mysticism is right now, today, being fully validated by modern EEG brain scans and cognitive research.
I know, it sounds kind of impossible, right? Did ancient sages really understand modern neuroscience? But honestly, as we unpack the mechanics of mantra chanting today, you're probably going to be surprised by the answer. Because when we strip away all the cultural layers and look purely at the physiological mechanics, the breathing, the tongue placement, those repetitive sound frequencies, it becomes pretty obvious that the architects of these practices had a profound functional understanding of the human nervous system.
So, to really get to the bottom of this, we're going to hit 5 key areas: the origins of mantra, the 5 forms of practice, mastering the japa mala, the actual neuroscience of chanting, and finally, the hard clinical data on brainwaves and cognitive benefits. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the origins of mantra. Because to truly understand the science here, we first have to understand the foundational framework these practices actually came from.
Think about the word itself. Mantra literally contains its own functional definition. It comes from 2 Sanskrit roots, mananat, meaning sustained repetition, and trayate, meaning that which protects or saves from miseries. So the crucial point is that this word describes a repetitive tool specifically designed to protect the mind. It's not just some random sequence of pretty words. It's a literal instrument of mental stabilization.
Now, check out this timeline. According to ancient texts, we're talking 3 trillion years ago when primordial sounds manifested from the drum, or damaru, of Lord Shiva. Fast forward to ancient times, and seers capture these foundational vibrations into 14 sutras made up of 57 letters. And what's wild is that today, in our modern era, those exact same phonetic sequences are being used all over the globe for mental well-being and stress reduction.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 5 forms of practice. We need to break down exactly how this works because, well, not all chanting is created equal. There are 5 distinct methods, and they each serve a very specific physiological purpose.
It's literally a tactical progression. You start with Vaikari, which is loud, audible chanting. That creates physical vibrations you can feel in your body, super helpful for beginners. Then you step up to Upamshu, a soft whispering where your lips move but no one else can actually hear you, pulling your focus inward. And finally, you reach Manasikam, which is the completely silent, internal repetition of the sound.
Just try to picture this for a second. Keeping your mouth and tongue completely, totally motionless, while a sound echoes vividly in your mind. That is the ultimate goal here. Master yogis consider Manashikam the highest form of practice because you are actively forcing your brain to maintain a frequency without any external auditory feedback at all. It requires immense focus, but the cognitive benefits it produces are just extraordinary.
Okay, Section 3, mastering the japa mala. If the mantra itself is the software, the mala is the physical hardware keeping the whole system running on a steady loop. Let's dive into it.
108. You see this number literally everywhere in these traditions. A standard japa mala has exactly 108 beads, plus 1 extra guru bead. It's so easy to just write this off as some mystical quirk, but there is actually a fascinating, highly precise biological reason behind it.
Let's do some quick breath math. A healthy human takes roughly 21,600 breaths in a 24-hour cycle. Half of those are exhales, half are inhales, which leaves us with 10,800 inhales. Well, exactly 1% of your daily inhales equals 108. So this supposedly mystical number is deeply rooted in human physiology. Doing 1 round on a mala simply means you're dedicating exactly 1% of your daily life force intake to focused, meditative awareness.
Now, using the mala takes some real physical discipline. You hold it in your right hand, moving the beads with your thumb and middle finger. But here's the kicker. You got to keep your index finger completely away from the beads. Why? Because in this tradition, the index finger literally represents the ego. Pointing it away is a physical reminder to transcend your ego. Also, you never ever cross that 109th guru bead. You flip the mala and reverse direction. That keeps your mind alert and stops the chanting from just becoming mindless autopilot.
And you aren't just stuck with one type of bead either. Depending on your specific goal, you can use different materials. Rudraksha seeds are known for bringing peace and mental clarity. Tulsi wood is for divine protection. Sandalwood gives us amazing, cooling, emotional calm. And spatik, or clear crystal, amplifies energy and dissolves negativity. The physical, tactile feedback of the material you choose literally grounds your senses while your mind works on the mantra.
Which brings us to Section 4, the neuroscience of chanting. Time to switch from the mystical to the strictly empirical. What is physically happening inside your skull when you repeat a sound over and over again?
Just take a look at this biological pathway. When you chant out loud, the sound waves are captured by your ear, hit the eardrum, and are converted into neural signals by the cochlea. Those signals shoot straight into the auditory cortex, but they do not stop there. They branch out into the limbic system, your brain's emotional center, and right into the prefrontal cortex, which handles executive functions like decision-making and focused attention.
So what happens next? It's a complete chain reaction. This auditory processing leads to highly specific changes in your EEG brainwaves. Those brainwave shifts then trigger neurophysiological modulation, which ultimately delivers all those massive cognitive and emotional benefits, like lowered stress and sharpened memory. It's a direct, linear, biological domino effect triggered by nothing more than sustained sound.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 5, brainwaves and cognitive benefits. We've talked anatomy, but now we need to look at the hard clinical data on the electrical frequencies in your brain.
This is where it gets absolutely wild. EEG scans prove that chanting actively rewires our brain waves. Alpha waves for relaxation and focus increased. Theta waves for deep emotional balance increased. Gamma waves for memory and awareness increased. Meanwhile, those frantic beta waves we produce during high stress, anxious thinking, they drop significantly. You are literally changing the electrical operating frequency of your mind. The real secret sauce here is a concept called X-Shruti, which basically means rhythmic monotone chanting. By holding a consistent monotone sound, you create neural entrainment. Your brain waves actually sync up with the external stimulus. You're forcing your brain's emotional and decision-making centers to synchronize and just settle down. It acts as an auditory anchor that stops your mind from wandering and slashes your cognitive load.
To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought based on modern scientific consensus. We know for a fact now that sound waves are a form of energy that create powerful electrical waves in the brain, producing profound physiological effects. So, does this finally bridge the gap between ancient sages talking about cosmic vibrations and the literal electrical brainwaves we just looked at? It definitely gives us a whole lot to think about the next time we sit down, get quiet, and try to focus our minds.